Welcome to Glendive Public Schools in the 2024-2025 school year. We're excited to have both parents and students with us as we embark on another year of learning and growing and participating in the many activities that DCHS and Washington Middle School both provide. This video is designed to be a helpful resource as we guide you through the activity policies at Glendive Public Schools. We'll address some of the most commonly asked questions to help you navigate these guidelines smoothly. Please note, however, this video will not cover the handbook in its entirety, so we highly encourage both parents or guardians and participants to familiarize themselves with the complete guidelines presented in the handbook. Should you have any questions about the policies, don't hesitate to reach out to Wade Murphy, Activities Director, or the administration of each of the respective schools. Dawson County High School and Washington Middle School provide and offer a wide range of athletics and extracurricular activities for both boys and girls. Participation in these activities is voluntary and a privilege. We recognize that participation in athletics and extracurricular activities can bring the student many rewards. The school district will provide properly trained coaches, safe equipment and facilities, teach proper techniques, and make reasonable efforts to see that the athletic or extracurricular program is safe for your child. However, because athletic activity can involve injury to the participants, we must warn you of the dangers. These activities require that the student make a commitment to the activity, submit to the discipline of the coach and advisor, and develop self-discipline to be able to participate successfully. Participation in these activities often require considerable physical exertion, physical conditioning, and adherence to training rules and regimens. The purpose of this warning is to aid you in making an informed decision as to whether the student should participate in the athletic activity. In addition, its purpose is to make you aware that as a student athlete and parent or guardian, it is your responsibility to learn about the sport involved and to inquire of coaches, physicians, and other knowledgeable persons about any concerns that you might have regarding athletic safety at the school district's athletic program. Athletic injuries can impair the student's general physical and mental health and students' ability to earn a living and engage in social or recreational activities and general enjoyment of life. Such injuries can include death or physical injury and possibility of emotional injury as well. Injury can arise from training room procedures, the administration of first aid, or failure to follow game, training, safety, or other team rules. The use of transportation provided or arranged by the school district to and from game and contests also involves the risk of injury or death. DCHS and Glendive Public Schools strive to protect each student from possible injury while engaging in the school activities. The guidelines and sport-specific injury warning information is listed on the following pages. The parents and student athletes should read this information provided for each sport or activity in which the student plans to participate. The parents and the student athlete should also read all other information carefully and then sign in the appropriate places in the sheets listed below. It is a responsibility of the parent and or the guardian and the student athletes to read and understand the contents of this packet. Please have your family physician complete all appropriate forms. Your signatures indicate that you have read, understand, and agree to allow your child to participate in the programs provided by Glendive Public Schools. Your signature also states that you understand and assume the many risks involved with participating in athletic and extracurricular activities. That being said, parents, participating students have no coverage by school insurance. Should a student be injured during competition or practice, when an injury occurs, the coach will fill out an accident report and turn it into the high school office within 2 days of the occurrence. We will also inform all parents, guardians of the injury, noted time and date for you to be able to take that information to a physician if needed. Once again, there is no coverage by the school's insurance on any of the activities that take place here in Glendive Public Schools. Requirements for high school students are students must not be 19 on or before midnight of August 31st of the current school year. Students that have not been in attendance at any secondary school more than 8 semesters. Of course, the homeschool policies, which we'll cover a little bit later, are a little bit different. But the bottom line is that they have to be in high school for 8 semesters total. An attendance of 20 days during a semester shall constitute 1 semester of attendance. The following is a basic checklist. They have to have a physical form, a concussion form, and a student information form on file. We also ask that they pay their activity fees. A complete physical exam is required for each student in order to be considered eligible. A concussion form must be completed and turned in prior to participation in the athletic program or cheer team. An activity fee must be paid as soon as possible after school begins. All participants must meet basic eligibility policies. This would be academic policies and also our training rules. Participants also must adhere to the drug screen policy if instituted for the year as well. And homeschool students have to meet the above criteria except for the attendance policy. One of the bigger issues that we deal with throughout the year in regards to activity transportation, the bottom line is this: we ask that all students and participants travel to the school to the event with the school, and then once the event is completed, they can be released to a parent or guardian. Coaches and advisors will have a sign-out sheet, and students and participants will only be released to a parent or guardian. If there is a previous arrangement made with school administration 24 hours prior to departure for the event, then that student may be released to another adult as indicated by a school administration and the agreement that was made. At no time will participants be released to a minor. Students will not be allowed to leave an event with another student. They will not be allowed to leave an event with a minor sibling. They must be released to an adult. And if that adult is not a parent or guardian, then that must be agreed upon and notified with school administration 24 hours prior. Students who participate in school-sponsored activities must be in attendance the immediate half day prior to that contest or practice. Students are not to compete in an after-school activity if they did not attend their afternoon classes, which is periods 5, 6, and 7. The morning absences must not be unexcused, and the only exception to the above would be a pre-arranged agreement made with DCHS administration. Homeschool students are the exception to this rule. Eighth grade participation. Eighth grade students who meet the DCHS activities criteria are eligible to participate in high school activities except for football. Participation by an eighth grade student will be at the sole discretion of the coaching staff and DCHS and Washington Middle School administration. Students participating in a DCHS activity as an eighth grade student will be held to the same eligibility and training rules as a traditional high school student. Extracurricular eligibility. A student must have received a passing grade and received credit in at least 4 classes of prepared classwork or its equivalent in the last previous semester. If a student is assigned an incomplete or a conditional in a subject, he or she has not received a passing grade and therefore will not have met the standard for eligibility. Students who have not met the criteria as described above will be placed on academic probation within that school year for one time and one time only. This probationary period allows for a student to regain eligibility at the end of the first quarter or third quarter, depending upon which previous semester they failed to reach the minimum number of required past classes. If a student has lost eligibility at the conclusion of a semester, they may gain eligibility at the end of the first or third quarter if they are passing 5 classes and have a minimum of a 2.0 GPA. At that time, they will regain full eligibility for the remainder of the semester. If a student uses their probationary period during the first semester and then fails to reach the minimum standard at the end of the first semester, they will remain ineligible for extracurricular activities for the entire second semester. Participants may request a hearing before the Academic Eligibility Committee, made up of school administration that will include the assistant principal, activities director, and the school counselor. Academic eligibility runs concurrently with a student's participation in DCHS activities. This means that if a student fails to reach the minimum standard at the end of the second semester, they will be ineligible for fall activities and they will be placed on academic probation at the beginning of the following year. Please reach out to school administration if you have any questions regarding your participants' extracurricular academic eligibility. Homeschool participation. Homeschool students who wish to participate in a DCHS activity must produce a transcript of grades that demonstrates the passing of 4 classes from the first day through the final day of the previous semester as dictated by Glendive Public Schools' established calendar. Students who have not completed and passed 4 courses during the established semester will not be eligible to participate. Activities covered by the above procedure include all activities, athletic and dance and cheer teams, speech and drama, theater productions, band and choir as it pertains to extracurricular participation, not co-curricular. Any club or activity can be held to this standard as well as deemed appropriate by the advisor and school administration. This could include Key Club, FFA, FCC-LA, Student Council, and other clubs and activities within the scope of DCHS. Basic participation requirements for homeschool students. They meet the requirements of MCA 20-5-109 and they can participate in GPS extracurricular activities. The same standard for participation must be met as those required of full-time students enrolled in school, except they are not required to be enrolled or attend. The student and his or her entire family must live in the school attendance area. There is no transfer or out of attendance area participation for non-public or homeschool students. All Glendive Public School rules must be met: academic, age, semester, non-graduate, except enrollment and attendance. See the eligibility checklist for specific information. The GPS homeschool policies 3121 and 3150 and 3510. At DCHS, here's the list of extracurricular activities homeschool students can participate in: the following: girls flag football, tackle football, volleyball, golf, cross country, basketball, both boys and girls, wrestling, boys and girls, tennis, track and field, softball, cheer, and forensics. They can also participate in the non-MHSA activities upon administrative approval, such as Key Club, Drama, Z Club, FFA, and other clubs that are administratively approved. Junior and senior age students aged 16 to 19 can participate in prom and co-ed if they are invited. They are not permitted to participate in other dances. If a homeschool student is a member of a fall or winter activity or club, they can participate in the events with their respective teams, such as homecoming and winter carnival assemblies and activities. Other homeschool students may be administratively approved if they have participated in a DCH activity prior. Once again, just a reminder that all students who participate in an athletic activity have to have a physical exam. Return to play. Once an athlete has been ruled physically unable to participate due to illness or injury by a licensed physician, they are not allowed to return to participation in either practice or competition until they have obtained a medical release from a licensed physician that clears them for participation. Athletes are allowed to participate as dictated by the physician's release. Athletes who have not obtained a medical release are not allowed to practice or compete, but they may be allowed to travel and participate in other team activities as allowed by the coaching staff. DCHS and Glendale Public Schools do have training rules. We send a clear message that any use, possession of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs are illegal and harmful and will not be tolerated. Training rules are enforced from the first day of fall practice or the first day of school, whichever is applicable, to the completion of the last activity date in the spring or the last day of school, whichever is applicable. The policy is in effect from the first day of their freshman year until graduation or separation from Dawson County High School and Glendive Public Schools. Infractions are cumulative during the time throughout high school. Enforcements may carry over to the next school year or next year of participation. The calendar year in which the penalty for infraction is received and consequences are served is the year of accumulation. Training rules are enforced in the following: athletics, speech and drama, cheerleading drill team, band and choir, non-lettering activities, clubs, and short-term events. It is the position of DCHS and Glendale Public Schools that participation in extracurricular activities is a privilege to students who are willing to make the commitment to adhere to these rules. Possession and or use of controlled substances, alcohol, drugs, and tobacco is strictly prohibited. Please make yourself aware and familiar with the definitions below. It is defined as what a tobacco product, controlled substance, misdemeanor crimes, crimes against people, crimes against property, and crimes of felony magnitude also fall within the training rules policy. It is encouraged that you read through and make sure that you are aware of the training rules infractions and the offenses and the consequences that go with them. Please be aware that Glendale Public Schools also has an extracurricular drug testing policy. This policy is listed in its entirety and its scope in this activity handbook. The following provisions apply to the frequency of the testing. 100% of the student participants may be tested at the beginning of each season or activity. The initial screening will occur anytime from the first day of practice to the day preceding the first contest or event. The following participants will be in different pools for the specific seasons. Fall, we have flag football, cross country, golf, volleyball, fall cheer team. Winter is speech and drama, boys and girls wrestling, boys and girls basketball, winter cheer team. And then in the spring, we have track, tennis, softball, and music. Random testing may occur during an activity season. Up to 25% of all students participating, regardless of the activity, may be tested on a periodical basis. Once a student is in the pool, they will remain in the pool for the remainder of the activity calendar year. Once again, it's highly encouraged that if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and also familiarize yourself with the policy that is listed in this handbook. Additional information, just to hit on a couple of these, please be aware that a lot of programs here at Dawson County High School also have a cut policy. Reduction in team, squad, or size might take place and addressed by the coach or advisor based on the allowable number of participants. Also, traveling teams and squads may be limited in size. If a participant is in two events taking place at the same time, divisional and state competition takes precedence over local meets and competition. Students who have been found in violation of the training rules policy must serve their suspension in its entirety in the next activity in which they choose to participate. The student must then complete that season in its entirety as well. This prohibits students from violating policy, serving a suspension in activity for the sole purpose of getting out of the way, and then having full eligibility in a different season. Be reminded that the training rules are enforced from the first day of fall practice to the first day of school, whichever is applicable, to competition of the last activity date in the spring or last day of school. And then also be aware that the DCH Activities Handbook policies supersede the DCHS Student Handbook policies in regard to students involved in DCHS activities and/or athletics. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. As mentioned before, we only touched on some of the more frequently asked questions and did not cover the handbook in its entirety. We highly encourage you and your participant to familiarize yourselves with the full content and the policies of this handbook. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of the ones listed here: Principal Amy Ree, Assistant Principal John Larson, and Activities Director Wade Murphy. Thank you for being part of the activities program at Glendive Public Schools. Our goal is to provide you a positive experience and help ensure your success while participating. Good luck.